Well, hello, Miss Megan. Can you hear me? Okay, Megan's getting herself set up. Thank you all for tuning in to another great segment and episode of Out the Box Radio Show. We are excited. We wish we could have more time with you guys all week long. So it's been a long week, but we are happy to be back. We're actually going to be joined by Megan and Jared, our co-host, in a little bit. In the meantime, I do want to mention to you guys that tonight we actually have a very special guest coming on in about 20 minutes or less. And that is going to be our guest, Mike Mayhall. Hey, Megan.
Hey.
Hi. First of all, I love your hair. The get up is cute. Okay.
Thank you. I said no wig today. I'm just going to keep it natural.
It's cute. And you have the butt, girl. Yes. Do it. Okay. It looks good.
Thank you.
Well, I want to get to actually asking you a question in a second, but just want to let the viewers know what I was mentioning, Megan, is we have a very special guest today, Michael Mayhall. So Michael is actually the writer, producer, and director of the hit series Bronx SIU. And so we are really happy to have him join us today.
Yay.
Super excited about that. You know, I'm telling you, I love crime series. I love how they always keep you like engaged and you just want to wait to the next episode. The one thing I will say though is it drives me nuts when they drag on a certain story into multiple episodes and you just want to know what happens next. Oh my God.
Like the soap opera kind of feel where it's going on for the whole season.
Yes. You'd be like waiting, like, come on, I have to wait a whole nother week. Yes. So we're really excited to talk to him. We have a great interview stored. He's gonna be joining us at 7:30 p.m. Eastern time, so in 20 minutes. So for those of you who are watching from West Coast, still same thing, 20 minutes, 4:30 p.m. Pacific time. So Megan, I do want to ask you a question though to start off.
Sure.
How was your son's graduation?
Oh my God, it was of course it was different because it was, this whole virtual thing. Mm-hmm. But we tried to make the best of it. It was sort of sad for me because he's going to middle school and it just seems like this whole experience went really fast. Because it's like I just was pregnant with him and now he is like a big boy. So, I didn't want to miss the show, but I was like, I think it'll be the virtual graduation was like at 5:30 or something like that. And then we wanted to kind of like give him some praise and attention.
Oh yeah.
So we were out, but thank you. It was pretty good. I mean, like I said, it's so weird, like these virtual graduations. Like I'm seeing all over my timeline, people graduating virtually or their family graduating virtually. It's really that's the class of 2020 has a really different experience.
Right. And you know what's crazy is like you want to give them a lot of praise and recognition because you kind of feel bad like they're not getting nobody else has experienced this yet. So this is their first time having to deal with this. And it's a big deal. It's a big deal. So I'm sure all the parents out there are super happy and thrilled that you were able to share this moment like Megan did with her son and doing like a virtual, celebration. So kudos to you guys for doing that for him. I'm sure he loved it.
He was pretty happy, but it's still not, I will say it's still not the same as being in person.
Yeah.
So I'm glad that wasn't his, last graduation.
So middle school, was that 7th grade starting out? I don't know no more.
So now they start, well, at least up here, they start at 6th grade.
Oh, wow. Okay. 6th grade.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yeah. So.
Well, that's good though. Does your son have any girlfriends yet? You know how boys be. Look at Megan. That you know of.
I don't think so. And if he does, he's not sharing it with mom.
Maybe he's just not quite there yet. Maybe like the end of middle school, early high school.
I hope that he like focuses on his schoolwork because I'm not trying to be a young granny.
Hello.
And like I mean, of course, like I guess he'll get to a point where he'll like girls or want to. I think he likes girls now, right. But I'm not ready for that. And like some of my other friends, like they're already, in that phase. I'm not ready for that at all.
Right.
Mm-mm.
Well, look, only time will tell, but hopefully when that does happen, he'll be open with you. I'm sure, because from what I know about you is you seem like you probably have a very open and close relationship with your kids, which is good because some parents don't have that. So hopefully he's communicating with you and lets you know when that time comes and doesn't like hide it or keep a secret. But you know how kids are. They keep things a big deal. They freak out. I don't want to know.
I pray that, like I'm very close with my kids, but I'm also like still like very much strict. Like I'm very much a mama bear.
Yeah.
But like I always wanted that as a kid, to have that relationship where I could just say anything, and I didn't really have that. So I really hope that when that time comes that the kids talk to me, because that's what really, that's what a parent is there. We're just guiders. You know what I mean? Like they're gonna have their own life. We're just here to guide and assist.
I think it's easier though with moms. Maybe that's just me because I had a better relationship, closer relationship with my mom. Like, I feel like most kids, especially boys, I don't know, always think of girls with dads, moms with the boys with the moms. So I feel like probably it'll be easier to open up to you maybe than dad. His dad will. But, I just think, I can see you having that good relationship with them. So even though you're mama bear, yeah, I think he'll have that conversation, I'm sure. So that's good.
Yeah. Oh my goodness.
So
how has your week been going with all of the things going? I got a chance to still listen into the show, and it was pretty, array of different emotions with everything going on in the world.
Yeah. Last week, and I had to get Jonay's permission first because we posted a clip on our page. So if you guys are following, those who are tuning in, go to our page on Instagram at OTB_radio show, which is Out the Box Radio Show. So I got Jonay's permission because I always want to do that before I post anything uncomfortable. And I did post a clip where it did get emotional, talking about Black Lives Matter, and it's a topic we should all be discussing right now. I don't think that's gonna end anytime soon. So it did get emotional, but I think you can see that weight on your shoulder. Because after a while you get into it, and if it's affecting your family, your friends, and your loved ones around you, it's only a matter of time before it kind of starts to boil over. And so that's kind of what happened. So I appreciate Jonay for being very open and transparent and vulnerable and willing to share that, because I think that is exactly what we need to see and hear to understand the real impacts here, especially for people who may not realize how big of a deal it is, AKA other races. I think that you guys really need to open up, hello, my peoples, white people, open up and listen, because this is a serious time to take action and raise your voice. If anything, that's what you can do, is let your voice be heard and support.
Absolutely. I definitely think it's so many different emotions right now, and people trying to not only be considerate, but I feel like people outside of the African Americans or Black people feel a little like don't know. It's a pretentious time because you don't really know what to say, or if it's going to offend someone, or if it's too much. I mean, I know even personally on my job, folks were like checking in on me and were like, "Are you okay?
Yeah.
Are you okay? Like, is everything fine? Are you and your family fine?" And I'm like, "I'm fine."
Yeah.
Of course, the things that are happening in the world, we have to take notice of it. And it's so many things happening, with the police violence, the overall violence, the COVID virus still looming and active. And so I think a lot of folks are really, expressing years of frustration and feeling unheard.
Yeah.
So it's a really interesting time. And I really hope that with this attention and spotlight on these various issues, that there is real change in action in regards to policy changes.
Exactly.
And really be able to make impactful changes, and not just, this is the story of today and tomorrow we're on to something else.
Exactly. And honestly, I feel like it is at this point. It's hit everywhere. It's hit everywhere, worldwide. So, honestly, even my husband's family in Costa Rica knows all about it, and they're even doing stuff not as deep, but they're even doing stuff over there because South America is mostly Latinos and things of that nature as far as the race, but they are definitely supporting even over there, which is crazy. But, considering everything that's going on with COVID, you don't want people to drop either focus right now. Stay smart, continue being smart, because you don't want these numbers to spike up. So do what you need to do as far as protecting yourself and others in regards to coronavirus, but don't forget and don't oversee, the Black Lives Matter movement, because now is a time where change will be instilled because of the voice that America is making about these issues. So I do think we will see change, and I hope so. But I do think we will. So how do you? I mean, you're a mom, so how do you have that conversation with your kid? Have you had that conversation with your children, and how did that go?
Honestly, so my oldest son, we have a pretty open relationship, and to be honest, he's very much of an intellectual, I'll use that term, because he keeps up with things on his own. He's telling me, this company is now coming out, this company, and what is so profound about my son is he comes up with his own opinion about things.
Okay.
So we have discussions. What I refuse to do is raise my children in fear. So I am not going to make them feel like they're inferior or that their life is on the line, or that, I won't put that energy out there for my children. I'm on the energy of that they are intelligent and they are smart and they are capable of all things. And there are ignorant people here in this world, but there are great people here in this world.
Exactly.
And so I think that, and I may be going into it too deep, but I think that what we're dealing with is more than just an ideological mindset of racism. It is a fundamental spiritual being that manifests in racism. And I feel that a lot of people are more ignorant than even racist. A lot of people don't have exposure to other races.
Exactly.
And it manifests as racism when it's really lack of exposure and being stereotyped in the media as one image. And in actuality, these group of people, aka Black people or all people that are stereotyped, are treated in a certain way. It's just like for myself, the way that I sometimes get treated or perceived, even with my own race, I'm totally different than usually with the perception of what they think I am. And even being with my children, you can be stereotyped as someone that is on welfare because you have multiple children, or someone that's loose because not that I was married for 10 years, not that I'm a college graduate, not all of these other things. So, it's a lot of ignorance that we see. And a lot of folks living in small towns who have never interacted with anyone outside of their race.
Yes.
And they have a small mind, and their opinions are small minded. And
that's right.
It's our job to educate folks and let them know, okay, but this is not all true.
Right.
This is not an accurate depiction. And if we have more, because I'm happy about the Black Lives Matter movement being more global and people being more a part of it. But then sides of me feel like, is this just the hashtag of the day? Are people just doing it for popularity? Is this the cool thing to do? Are you coming out and saying, now I support Black people because I don't want to lose their money, or I don't want to lose their business?
Right.
And so, you know, I think that people need to be very smart when they're listening to all of this. Now people are taking people off of pancake boxes and stuff like that. This should have been done years ago.
Right.
Why, I mean, it's almost feel like, and pardon me if I am out of line, but a part of me is treating this issue like as someone coming out of the closet. We've always been Black. We've always had Black people in America. And and if we want to be real of the history of this country, a lot of people that even, you know, are in the white world may have Black great grandmothers, Black people in their family, Black people that have taken care of them, Black people that they've had intimate relationships with. So we're very much connected as Americans, and I think that we need to try to come up with some real solutions, and I know it sounds so cliche, but get together and as the united front, because we have a global crisis going on right now. This pandemic, we're in a recession, and so we have major issues that we need to collaboratively work together to impact. And racism is a part of it, but we have so many issues that we need to be focused on, and we need to make sure that we don't lose sight, as you said so eloquently, on any of them.
Right. No, that's right. You know, you can't put a focus just on one thing. And it is, the series of events is very unfortunate, considering that, you know, especially with everything that happened with Floyd, you know, should have never happened to begin with. COVID, we can't help. The situation with George Floyd, we could have done better than that.
And then, you know, this new case in Atlanta was very disturbing, because the gentleman was drunk and literally said, "I will walk." Actually, he was in his vehicle sleep, trying to sober up. And you know, the police came. There's somebody made a phone call saying that a gentleman was sleeping in their vehicle. So the police came and then try to do a sobriety test. And he said, "You know what? I got in an argument with my old lady. I will walk home. I'll keep my vehicle parked." That was really, you know, and you know, people have their different opinions about it because he grabbed the taser. But my whole thing is, if you're drunk, you may not even realize what is going on. And if I said I will walk, I'm not driving, I'm not behind a motor vehicle. That was a senseless murder. And from now, new evidence coming out states that the officer stepped on his shoulder and you know, was like, made some kind of remark. So the training, I think that there needs to be a high level training when it comes to becoming a police officer. I mean, we need to pull the Band-Aid off of this, and there needs to be real training. And if you do not live in these communities, you should not be able to police them. If you live if you are a police officer in Baltimore City, you need to live in Baltimore City. If you are a police officer in Minneapolis, you need to live inside of Minneapolis. You can't live way out of the community because you're not a part of it. It's just like you, Justin. You grew up in Prince George's County, so your mind is so different than most people because you've been around Black people. You've been in Black people's houses. You know Black people. They're your friends. Where someone else may have never actually had a conversation longer than 10 minutes with a Black person. And that's the truth.
Yeah. No, that's absolutely right. That's what it is. People just need to be open-minded and more aware. And diversity is huge, not just in the work. I mean, they push it everywhere in the workplace. You know, if y'all have jobs, y'all know they push diversity, and they need to. But even in general, we need to have more diversity and be open-minded, because that's when stuff like this stops. And I think
absolutely,
being like you said, the Atlanta situation was crazy and absolutely insane. absolutely insane. So I 100% agree with you on that.
It's really the fear, and I dare to say it. It's the fear of the police because they don't understand the people that they're policing.
Right.
And once, because you'll see other folks who aren't killed by the police, and they have made even higher offenses, but they're comfortable with those groups of individuals because they know them.
Because they know them. Right.
So it goes back to, as you said, clear diversity and us trying to get to know each other. Because if we want to be real, a lot of Black people don't know very many white people or have never been into a white person's home or never been, it's everyone. We all can really, we really need to become together as a country and get this crap, because this is embarrassing at this point.
Right.
As a country.
Exactly. So, I mean, I'm not going to hone on this one situation that happened to make this determination, but considering everything that's going on, and now I think a lot more people who are maybe, let's just say, Republicans or who support Donald Trump are kind of seeing how he is more than ever. This light has really shone down on him and his actions, but do you think, he'll get reelected?
So the statistics. Most presidents get 2 terms. If you look in the history of the presidential elections, there's only been, I think Carter did 1 term. It's only been a few presidents that's gotten 1 term.
Which is true.
Honestly, I have no idea. It looks like the Democratic candidate is going to be Biden.
Yeah, Joe.
And so, I have no idea realistically will he get in, because it's all about the super delegates.
Right.
He may not get the popular vote, but if he gets the super delegates again, if he gets those delegates, he's back in office.
Yeah.
Which is a really interesting thing, because right now we are in the middle of a pandemic, and he took us out of the World Health Organization that comes up with vaccines, that come up with ideas to eradicate pandemics. So it's just a really, interesting time to be an American.
Right. If anything. I wish I could go away, trust me. For a little bit. Just give me a couple months.
And then you can't even travel.
No, that's the bad thing. We can't go nowhere at all. Really quick, I'm gonna want to mention something, and then we're actually going to get into a quick preview and bring our guest on. I know Jonay's not here. We are fans of Real Housewives of Atlanta.
Yes.
Did you hear about the letter?
Yes. And did you hear the sloppy shade from Portia?
Yes. You know what? I love Portia. Portia is one of my favorites.
I love Portia.
I love her. She has dramatically changed since she first was on this show. Let me tell you something.
But you know what? I think that was never her. I don't think that was
at
ever
first.
Her.
No, I think she
was
controlled by Cordell. She was way too controlled by him, and she was not in the situation.
Yeah.
But yeah, so for those of you who do or may not know, Housewives fan, just so you know, Eva, who I actually know pretty well. I mean, I like Eva. I've liked her ever since she was on America's Next Top Model. She ain't coming back. Now, she didn't. It's not that she didn't get offered a letter, but she just declined and said.
Are you sure? Because Portia kind of alluded to she wasn't offered a letter.
Well, the thing is, from what I know, and I only know 2 or 3 producers of Housewives, but not Atlanta, Potomac and Dallas is and Beverly Hills is who I know. I don't know anyone in production from Atlanta side, but what I will say is what I heard for the other franchises is until after maybe 2 or 3 weeks, they don't publicly amongst the production team share who gets those letters. Now the girls might kiki and talk to each other behind the scenes and be like, girl, I got my letter. Did you get your letter? But the production team doesn't tell the other girls who and who did not get a letter. They usually find out a month or so close to it after the letters are issued. And that's a privacy thing. They don't want them to know.
I see.
Yeah, at least, again, this is for the franchises that I know production teams to work on. Maybe it's different for Atlanta, but I personally think it was a toss-up to bring Eva back, but I do think that she made a wise choice because she is very boring on the show. I'm sorry, Eva. You know I love you, but you are boring on the show. On this
Do
show,
you know her personally?
I've met her before, but also I've worked with the production team when I worked on America's Next Top Model in production.
Oh, wow.
So I know of Eva. And I always thought she had a kind heart and a very positive mind, and she was always motivated and focused on everything she did. I don't think she should have ever signed up for this show. So to be honest with you, I'm happy for her because now I think it's going to set her free and give her more time to do what she wants to do, which is be a mentor in the community for others, specifically African American women and overall and Black people. So I think that she's going to put her focus on that. Good for you, Eva. I won't miss you on the show. I'm sorry, honey.
Is she like that in real life?
She has her moments. I mean, Jonay shared before in the show. She met her.
I remember that. That was tough.
I don't know.
I was very offended.
Yeah, I don't know that Eva. So maybe Eva had a few drinks and she was just going through something. But I don't know that side of Eva. But I believe everyone has their days, and some people do not have their days. So maybe it's, but now she has plenty of days to figure out what she wants to do because she ain't got no show no more.
But she really didn't have a storyline, in my opinion. Her storyline was boring and kind of stale. And then they kept alluding that she was broke,
I feel bad for her. She was not broke.
Well, I don't know. I mean, they're like, she didn't want to have her baby shower at her home. And the first episode or one of the first episodes, she was looking for a new place to stay with Cynthia.
Right.
And she was in some sort of, I don't know. They Marlo, the season before that was alluding that she was broke.
Right.
So and is her husband going to be running for mayor or something? Isn't he?
Yeah.
So I'm thinking that's more why she probably selected to go, because his, once you get into the political thing, everything is hush hush, shut down.
Exactly. I think there's a few different reasons that kind of trickled into that decision. But we'll see. We'll keep tuning in. We'll see who does come back, because obviously they got to fill her role and probably maybe an additional person they'll bring in. We'll see. So we're
somebody good, because the Housewives has been. I'm sorry, and I know that's your franchise, but because I used to love love LOVE, love with all caps, the Housewives. And I'm sorry, but the last 2 seasons have been really boring to me. I wish they bring Phaedra back. They need to bring Phaedra back.
I wish they would, but with Candy on the show, they're not going to do that. But I wish they could. At some level, I wish they could and just have her maybe be a friend of the show. Maybe she don't film scenes with Candy, But I loved her. I loved her shade. I loved her energy. She was great. We are gonna switch gears. I actually want to bring on our guest beforehand. I want to show all of you, the viewers, a trailer. So this is a trailer of Bronx SIU season 2. We are showing it here, and when we come back, we'll be joined by our guest, producer, director, and writer of Bronx SIU, Mike Mayhall. So don't go anywhere. Take a look.
Sometimes I wonder how we got here. How this all got away from me. As far as I can tell, no one will be able to trace what happened back to us. Not that they haven't tried.
Until we get a handle on this, until we drag Argon out of the shadows.
She's easy to find.
If there is anything you love left in your life, let go.
Identify yourself, soldier!
Or we destroy it.
Sometimes I wonder if it would just be better if it all came out. If it all came out. Just have done with it.
Wow.
Welcome back, everyone.
Wow, amazing.
Mike Mayhall, how are you?
I'm great, guys. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Thanks for joining us.
Welcome.
Hey.
We're super excited to have you here. We just showed the trailer for season 2 of Bronx SIU. Now that season is titled as Vengeance, right?
Mm-hmm.
2. Okay. I definitely want to get into the series. You are actually the writer, producer, director. You wear many hats within Bronx SIU. And I want people who may not be as familiar with the series, first tell them a little background about what the series is about, and then where they can actually catch up and watch the seasons.
Sure. So Bronx SIU is about, I describe it as an elite team of New York detectives that tend to handle the less savory cases, and they work all over the city, and they get the cases that no one really wants to get, and they get sort of sucked into the criminal world that they're investigating and that they're trying to police, and it's sort of like this blurred line between cop and criminal starts to happen, and everybody just kind of goes down this dark road, and then they kind of pull themselves back up. Hopefully, it's a serious drama. It's melodrama. It's got so much going on. I don't even know how to cover it in a sentence, but it's juicy for sure.
It is pretty good. I will admit it is pretty good. Now, the genre that this falls under, explain to us, because it could go in different directions, right? So explain to us those genres that this series falls into.
If I had to put it in a genre, I would call it a thriller, a dramatic thriller. That's where I would put it. It's got some action in it, but it definitely leans much more thriller. There's our hashtag for it was trust no one, because you couldn't trust anybody. Everybody was coming at you from a different angle. Good guys were bad guys, and bad guys were good guys. So there's a lot of double crossing going on.
Wow.
So suspenseful.
Sounds good. That's pretty good. Now you have 2 seasons, correct? Are you guys working on a third? Are you able to say yet?
We're working on a third. I haven't heard anything from UMC, so I think everybody just needs to blow up UMC and be like, give us that third season, because it's a big cliffhanger. So we have it pinned. The actors are all game for it. We've been talking plots and things of that nature. Just last week we were pinning down things. So,
nice.
I mean, it's not. I'm just kind of waiting to hear. I think we all are. We're all just waiting to hear. And of course, there's this little COVID thing happening right now. So everything's a little up in the air.
I was going to ask you about that. I mean, I'm sure COVID definitely has an impact here for sure. Any other areas of production with either Bronx SIU or any other series maybe you're working on, whether you've had a challenge right now due to COVID-19?
Yeah. So I also am the director on a TV show called A House Divided, which is another super, super great show. And we just got renewed. That just got renewed for the 3rd season. And thank you. And we're working on production, but we have to work with all the unions to just figure out, how to do it, we have, and we're just learning as we go. We're just trying to figure it all out.
Are you guys open yet in your state? Have you gone to like a phase 1 or 2 yet?
Yeah, I live in New Orleans, and come on down.
Right. Yeah, my family's from New Orleans.
I didn't know you were.
Where are you guys at?
We're in Maryland.
We're in Maryland.
Oh, Maryland. I like your crab cakes.
And we like the gumbo.
Yeah, that's a good combination. Yeah. I feel I was just up in Baltimore, down in this harbor area. It was great. I loved it down there.
Nice.
Okay, nice.
I loved it. Yeah. But to answer your question, Louisiana is pretty much phase 1. Phase 2, New Orleans is a little slower because it was a big hot spot. So it's opening up a little differently. But I want to say, I feel like this week they're going into a phase 2. So we'll see.
So hopefully that's productive.
Hopefully.
So hopefully, actually here, I think we're on like almost phase 3 tomorrow.
Yeah, we're in phase 2, and hopefully we'll be in phase 3 soon.
Yeah, so they actually started production in DMV, because actually I'm filming for something on Saturday. So we just got the pass to do so, the green light. So I'm super happy about that, because it's been months.
How are you negotiating that? Are they giving you any particular guidelines you got to follow, or is it?
There's still guidelines, but and this is going to be in Virginia, not Maryland. So right now they're still following strict guidelines, but as long as you have less than, I think the team of people you have to have, including cast and crew, cannot be more than 15 people, which sometimes can be pretty, like before you know it, you're like, oh, we're getting to that number. So I think limiting it to probably the very minimal production team and then the actor. So it's only me and one other actor and maybe I think one extra. So 3 people in one scene, not a big deal. And then I think they're going to have the 2 producers and the videographer, the camera guy as well. So probably 7 of us, but I think you have to be under 15 right now to be able to legally.
Great. Well, congratulations on the gig. That's great. Yeah, one of the few. I think what we're looking at right now is how to write it to where we can have 2 different filming locations and almost 2 crews, so that way we can still get our page count we need for the day, but not be stepping on each other.
Right.
Real skeleton crew. We're already a kind of a skeleton crew, so I'm not sure how much further down we can go.
Now, before Megan asks a question, because I want to shoot it over her and let her get in here too, but I do want to ask you one thing I just randomly thought of, because I never actually spoke to an interview with a director and producer and writer before. So just out of my own curiosity, I know how it works with reality TV, but with this type of series, are you waiting for quote unquote like the funding or from UMC to go ahead and give you the green light in order to begin working on the production team, or do you already have like this cushion that you guys work on to have that set?
No, it's more the first way. And my producer Dan Garcia, he tends to handle a little bit more of that, and I help him. He came with that connection, and without going into too much detail, it's sort of like back when we first started, we submitted our synopsis, our idea. We had these actors who were standing by and they gave us a guarantee. So upon completion, then we would sort of get the money back that we spent. Does that make sense? I mean, there's a lot more to it than that. So we weren't starting out with a set of money. We had to kind of go out and find it from people to loan, but based off the network and the actors and the script and Dan and I's background, we were given the money, and then it basically just sort of exchanged hands. It was just one sort of money that just kept moving around.
That's true. Yeah. Nice.
Yeah, that's nice. Thank you, brother. Appreciate
it. So getting back to the cast, what is it? What do you like about working with your cast members?
Oh man, I like everything about working with my cast members. They're just awesome people, and I feel like a cliche when I say that they just want the same thing I want, and that's the best. They want the best show. They want the best product. They just work super hard. Shanti Lowry, who has become a good friend of mine, who is just dynamite as Yolanda in season 1 and 2. She's just a powerhouse. There were times where at 2 a.m. we would wrap, and Shanti and I would then sit down for another hour or so and work character and work background. So we're an independent production. We're not studio backed. Everybody who's there, then you got to want it. We want it. We want it so bad. And so we would just grind. And everybody just brought something to the table. Brian White, man, when he keys into a scene, you just can't look anywhere else. I mean, I could just go down the list and just name all these great things about each individual actor and what I liked. I really just don't have anything negative to say. I wish I did. I just don't. I don't wish I did. Like there's no gossip. I don't have any gossip for you. It's just they were just great people, and I love working.
But that speaks to you as a director, that you're creating that kind of environment and vibe for the actors, because it's not always like that, on sets.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. No, I work really hard. Dan and I both, we work really hard to create a real positive environment. We know that we're not the $50 million production. We're just the little guys. So we appreciate everybody's time, and we understand that it's valuable. But I want everybody to have fun, because I got into this business because it was fun and it was exciting, and I've never lost track of that. I've been doing it for, I don't want to age myself too bad, let's say 20 years plus.
Wow.
And I've just never lost sight that I feel it's a blessing to be working in this business, and I just try to push that forward. I want everybody to have fun. I try to create a friendly family atmosphere. Right. I want people to come to me so we can work things out. I just open door sort of policy like that.
Nice.
So over your time 20 years, which is so impressive.
Thank
What
you.
have been some of the challenges as a director and a producer that you could share with other directors or producers?
How much time do we have to be so I get that question a lot, and what I think about is my first film, which is called Jake's Road, and it was an independent thriller. It was a horror movie. It was, kids going to the woods, and the bad guy shows up, and then they all get killed. Pretty simple. But I wouldn't have done that had my friends next to me not encouraged me to just take the chance. Because for years, I've worked as an actor and a stuntman and a writer, and I've done, you name it, I've probably done it. And but always knew, like, deep down that, like, this is where I should be. And they were like, you need to just do it. It doesn't matter. We'll back your play. You have our support. You got our love. And because it's a big step, because I was working in the stunt world and I was making really good money, and I had to basically give all that up to focus on this. And it was like completely starting over. And it was a big risk and a big chance, but I just, I think of the people around me, and I just trusted myself. So I guess my advice is that if you want to direct, if you want to go out, and you really just have to take a leap of faith in yourself and in your abilities. And it's okay if your first project is no good. Do you know what I'm saying? Like it's all right, because it's not the first project you want to focus on. It's the 50th project. So here I am. My first feature film was in 2012, and it was pretty good, I thought, but I'm biased. And now here we are, 2020, Emmy nominations and
Wow.
2 television series later. So, it was a grind. But I guess, but if it wasn't for my friends around me and my family, I would have never really taken that leap of faith. So I say, go for it. My advice is go for it. Do it. Don't hold back. No one's going to do it for you.
Yeah, motivating.
How inspirational. You should, your second career might be inspirational speaking. That was really inspiring.
Well, thank you, Miss Megan. I appreciate it.
It really was.
What would you say is the most memorable moment you've had on set? I mean, I'm sure you've had so many. But what would you say is your most memorable one?
Oh, I wish I would have got that question earlier. I could have written some down. I feel I can't think of anything. I'm on the spot. It'll come to me later. I can. Let's see. I remember wrapping SIU season 1, and everyone had left, and it was just me and like a single light. And I just remember sitting there after working, almost 6+ weeks, 16-hour days in a row. Like, there was just no break for me, and just thinking that was one of the most trying, challenging things I've ever done, and not really knowing how the edit was going to come out because I hadn't had time to look at much dailies. I just remember that being really rewarding. Watching an actor key into a scene is so awesome to me. Like, it's just, when I watch that actor and that line, connect, and they just key into it. I mean, I'm behind the camera jumping up and down. Like, well, it's all inside because I'm trying not to distract anybody. But inside, I'm like a little 12-year-old kid that's just like, look at what's going on. I just get excited when I see things like that. Like, I remember Brian White. There was a scene in episode 5 of season 1. And it was this really big turning point scene for him. And we had talked about it a little bit, and I got him keyed into the scene, and we did it. We just did it twice, and he did it, and I was just jumped up. I was like, yeah, that was the shot. There we go. I was so excited. So it's I guess I could say, when Shanti Lowry, episode 5, season 2, when she confronts her dad for the first time, you talk just like your heart breaks for this girl. So I would say that it's these micro moments that happen. Like, if I'm doing my job right, like hopefully every shot, every other shot, you get these micro moments that really just build on top of each other. Does that make sense? I know I'm rambling at this point in
Oh
time.
my God, it's so beautiful.
It
Like
makes
your
perfect sense.
passion. Yes.
Yeah, I guess it comes out. It's the little moments, they just sort of come out. My DP goes, "What about this camera angle?" And I'm like, "God, that's brilliant, fantastic." Anything. I want to tell a story. I want to create a story, and I want people to like it as much as I do, as I'm doing it. That's I sound like a Hallmark card, don't I? I totally sound like a Hallmark, but it's truthful.
I would buy you.
Yes.
I would buy it. So and so that's the importance of teamwork, because you just mentioned like the DP kind of helping step in there and mention that sometimes you don't even see that because your vision is so you're trying to get down the right stuff. So that's really good that you have that teamwork there and that passion to kind of have a family on set.
Absolutely.
Now, with the multiple hats that you do wear, being in production, director, writer, producer, even experience as an actor as well, which role, if you had to pick one, it's hard. Which role is your favorite?
Oh, that's not a fair question. That's unfair. That's not fair.
I know, it's pretty bad. I'm sorry.
Oh, no. If I had to pick one, I would say, I can't pick one. I can't. I like them all for different reasons. Yeah. So I like directing. So when I'm a director, I want to act because I see what they're doing and I'm like, oh, I want to do that. And then when I'm acting, I see the director and I'm like, oh, wait, I want to do that now. And then like Dan, he's been sending me outlines for season 3 of A House Divided, and it's just insane and it's awesome. And I'm like, oh wait, I want to write now too. So it's really hard for me to pick just one. I would say that acting, that's my first love. That's where I started. I started on the stage, and so like you never forget your first love. But I would say that directing, I would put directing right in there. Like they're each of them are each other's mistress. I love them all.
Love the metaphors. They're awesome.
Now I do want to get into something. You actually talked about this, so I'm glad it's a good segue. You talked about your film, Jake's Road, and you actually won Best Feature Film at the New Orleans Horror Film Festival for that production. So you told us a little bit about the background. What inspired you to kind of bring this production to life?
The Jake's Road production?
Yeah.
We're in Louisiana, and I had moved back to Louisiana. It was the height of the recession in California, and I couldn't afford to stay there anymore. And I remember it was one of those, I packed everything I could fit in my pickup truck, and anything I couldn't fit, I had to throw away. I just couldn't afford to bring it with me. And I came back because of that, and my mom was having shoulder surgery, and she needed someone to help her recover. So I was like, all right, I'm going to come back home, and I have to stay with you because I can't afford to get a place. Let me get on my feet. And I was just sitting around thinking, I've got all these friends who are filmmakers. We all keep talking about doing something. And I guess I just must have pined on about it because my friends were like, just write a script and freaking do it already. And I felt like it was a challenge. So the camp is it's an old hunting camp that I grew up going to as a kid. And we would sit out there and like scare ourselves and tell horror stories about what was out there. So I just took all of those crazy horror stories that we would tell each other and combine that with actual things that my friends and I would do, and just basically wrote a script out it called Dan Garcia, who I'm still working with today, and was like, hey, if I do this, will you produce it for me? I know that I have no right to ask that of you, but I don't know how else to say it.
Right.
And he said, yep. And I went out and actually raised the money for it on my own, and then just did it. And I guess you could say like that was the first big step off. No one could tell me no. Like I was like, I'm gonna make this happen, and that's all I saw.
Right.
That's all I focused on. Yeah. And that's kind of how it got up. I don't know if I answered your question. I'm sorry.
No, absolutely you did. And actually, in just a little bit, we're gonna show a little clip from Jake's Road for the viewers. And I do want to mention, I like that because I love the film, the concept. I love. Coincidentally, after I was looking online, and I just found your production, Jake's Road, I want to say maybe Monday this week or the week before, and I was like, wow. I think about a week and a half ago, so the same time frame, somebody reached out to me, a producer reached out to me, and they actually got me casted for a lead role in a similar type of film. Now, I don't know too much about it yet, but it's the same kind of concept, which I love. So it's a group of friends that go on a camping trip and all hell breaks loose.
Right.
And I love that because I've only done 2 horror productions before, but that's actually one of my favorite genres to do, whether I'm the killer or, a victim. I love it. So I'm looking forward to it, but I think that's kind of what connects me to Jake's Road too. And I'm like, wow, what inspiration.
Do you know who you're playing? Has it been decided yet? Or you're still working things
They're
out?
still working out the roles actually because they switched it up a little bit. I do know I'll be one of the leads with 3 others, so one of the main group of friends. But I'm hoping, if you're watching, please don't kill me off first, because the last production I did, I was the first to die, and I'm like, oh my gosh. Yeah, I was like, give me some more time, but but it was fun. No,
I'll keep my fingers crossed for you.
Yeah,
hopefully you don't die.
Yeah.
That's awesome, man. Congratulations. Congratulations. That's 2 projects right there. Look at that. Bam. That's awesome.
I'm very grateful for it. So, yeah. Now, I know we had a question that I was going to have Megan ask. We kind of talked about it, more about New Orleans. So you mentioned that's where you are right now as well?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
So were you living at any point in the West Coast for a while, or did you just recently move back? When did you move back to?
No, I came back here in 2009. Before that, I was in Burbank for 3.5 years, and before that, I was in Orlando, Florida for just shy of 10.
Wow.
Okay. Wow.
Did you do a lot of work in Orlando?
Yes, ma'am. I worked for all the theme parks at one point in time, and I did theater in the area and auditioned for film and television. I was just a working actor and just trying to make a paycheck, Yeah.
Wow.
Did the Disney and did Universal Studios and SeaWorld.
Nice.
Wow. Very nice.
Fun. It was a really, really fun time. It really was.
Wow.
Yeah.
And where do you guys primarily film for Bronx SIU kind of makes sense. It would be in New York. Do you have a lot of things that are out of New York for that series, or most everything is in New York? Most everything was in New York. We did pickup shots in Los Angeles, some studio stuff, just because, we sometimes the scene wouldn't work out, and it was more due to an actor's schedule. So then we would have to just find a way to cheat it out in Los Angeles. And then in season 2, we scraped up some pennies and we filmed the second half of the season finale in season 2 in Puerto Rico. So, I don't know how Dan pulled that off, but he was able to take 2 pennies and make them into something else. And so we went down there for like 4 days, a day of prep, a day of filming, a day of play, and then we took off. Oh, I'm sure everyone loved that though. It was awesome. Yeah, Puerto Rico, super cool. Go visit. It's beautiful. I've never been, so I definitely want to go. Oh man, have you been, Megan? Have you been to Puerto Rico?
No, I haven't been to Puerto Rico.
Man, see, look, we got to make a little out the box trip. You got to go out the box. Live from Puerto Rico. That's what needs to happen. You know what? That might be an idea. Once COVID goes away, that might be an idea. Once COVID goes away, absolutely. So let's take a quick break. We have a couple more questions before we let you go, Mike. But we do want to show during this break your trailer for Jake's Road. So everyone who's viewing right now, take a look at this production, Jake's Road.
You know, when Mom and Dad died, I just kind of took off. God, if I hadn't met you, funny how a car crash can change everything.
You know, if Mom and Dad were here, they'd be real happy for you.
Never thought I'd be back here.
Welcome, old man. There's a lot of history out here.
You said you were fixing up the camp. I didn't really know what to think.
Parents would be proud of the two of you for what you're doing with this place, really, truly.
You weren't really around to offer suggestions. Sam and I have been talking.
We've decided to sell the camp. It's a bit of a surprise.
You call yourself family, and yet you sold the land right out from under us.
Did you see Kay? Did you see was she okay?
She's not dead! I'm dead! We have to go back! We have to go back! I don't care!
No, that didn't happen.
That didn't happen. That didn't happen. That didn't. Do you know how you got here? What do you remember? What happened? You need to remember. Remember. You're happy. I can't.
Won't they hear the gunshots?
Wow. What a suspense.
You're too kind.
Trailer.
Wow, I haven't seen that in a long time.
I was on the edge of my seat when I first watched it.
Me
Like,
too.
wow, it was good. It was
Thank
good.
you. Thank you very much. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
So, is there anything that is like frustrating when it comes to the entertainment industry in general? And is there anything that you would actually want to change if you could change, or you wish you could change?
Wow. I feel like that's a whole other show at times.
Yeah, it's kind of loaded.
Yeah, anything I could change. Anything I could change. Sometimes I would say that I don't even know how to change it or explain it real briefly. I would love it if I could change. It's hard to get a production up. I'm sure, as you guys know, it's hard to raise the money. It's hard because you need to get a name actor, and you can't get a name actor unless you have the money, but you can't get the money unless you have a name actor, and sort of you're constantly fighting this chicken or the egg sort of scenario. And the one thing I love about the digital world is that if you have a good story, you tend to be able to get your screenplay out or your TV series out, and you don't need like a name actor. I wish I could change that like lead actor money scenario and just present it more on sort of story and content, as opposed to needing these two keystone things before anything kind of gets started. That's something that frustrates me as a filmmaker, because you know, Justin, as an actor, like, you know, that there's so many talented people out there, and they're not all famous, but that doesn't mean they're not talented. And there's so many more people we could work, and we could create more stories, and they could be good. But it's hard because you right out the gate, you hit this, well, there's no one famous, so I don't really want to, you know. And it's not, I don't think it's the audience, because I think the audience will watch something if they think it's good. You know, they have a nice trailer. If it looks good, I think the audience will watch it. It's these gatekeepers. I wish I could sort of sometimes just be like, yo, wake up. Like, people just want good content. How many $100 million movies fail because it's just, they've got money and they got great actors, but the script is,
like Cats. Sorry.
I hear you. I'm just saying.
But yeah, it's very true. That's a good point. Actually,
I know that's a big sort of thing. I can't really think of anything sort of like on the small level, you know. I mean, sometimes I just wish actors would just do this, because like I promise you, I got your back. Like, but you know, that's a trust thing, you know, because they're coming in, they're not quite sure where you're coming from, and you're just like, I know you can't see the full vision, but I promise you, if you say the line this way and come off with this, you're gonna look beautiful in the editing room. Just trust me a little bit more. So that's a micro thing, though, that just I make adjustments on the day, in the moment, on set.
Yeah.
I just want to get more people work. I want to work my friends and the people I know, but it's getting past those gatekeepers that I think everybody struggles with.
And even audiences, you know, you get tired of seeing the same 10 or 15 actors. Like, you would love to see some more diversity and see other folks getting the opportunity. And
diversity, I think.
Well, I was just saying diversity is as far as the people, you know, but yeah, of course, like in other.
I agree with you. I wasn't trying to layer anything. I agree with you. Yes, just diversity in different actors, different people, different faces. But I think just diversity, like just skin tones, right? You know, is great too, because you get different angles and stories, and you know, a couple walks on screen and one is black and one is a black and white, and
Right.
you can immediately visually just go, oh, there's a story there that I'm not really seeing. It's not the same. It's different. So I agree on both accounts.
Yeah.
Which is, we push really hard for that on Bronx SIU and A House Divided to just get colorblind casting.
You do though have a great. Go ahead, Megan.
No, I had this question earlier. I wanted to just say it real quick. Are the actors from Bronx, are they actually from New York, or are the actors from all over?
There were I would say our main cast was out of LA, and then we filled everybody in New York. Like all other than I think our 4 leads. Yeah, I think just our 4 leads were LA, and then everybody was New York, which was great. We got to work a lot of local talent.
That's cool.
Yeah,
that's pretty good. No, and you really talked on it, and that's what I appreciate. Even speaking to you, it makes me admire your work and your passion even more. Because one, talking about diversity, I think is also very important that you sometimes don't always have those same people or even well known, because one, it helps avoid being typecasted. Let's be real. A lot of people have the same roles in similar productions. So you need to kind of be more open to having that different cast and different face of that production. But that's also a good word out for those who are actors, because I think a lot of times those who may not be as experienced on the production side and acting side, they may not realize that it's more than just the production team that may not be able to cast you. They might like you, but to get picked up, it's probably beyond their control. And sometimes actors don't see that. And that's why I admire what you said, because now it opens their eyes a little bit more to realize there's more to it. It's not just in the 4 walls of production. It goes beyond that.
It goes so beyond that. And I feel so bad. My heart breaks every time actors come in and I'm like, you were amazing, but I can't find a spot for you. Or we've got other things going on and I can't get in there. It's rarely the actor's fault if they don't get cast. It just isn't. And
are any of your leads, or not just leads, but any of your, I guess, main cast on Bronx SIU, are any of them non-union, or are they all union?
Our leads were well, let's see. No, I take that back. We had, I think 2 of them were not union.
Okay.
Yeah, they were non-union. I don't care. I don't care if you're union or non-union. I just want you to be good and come to play.
Bring it to life.
Yeah. So I'm not that. And then even on season 2 of Bronx SAU, I cast a lot of stunt actors, and that's something that's a little close to my heart because I did stunts for 12 years, 15 years. So talk about getting pigeonholed. So I like to cast stunt actors a lot because they can bring the action and they can bring the dialogue, and I only need one person. I don't have to hire a double or anything like that. So I appreciate those people who are grinding on that.
Yeah, absolutely. Now I do have one more question on the list, on the table, that I want to ask you. It's more personal, not about production entertainment. So now we can loosen up a little bit. So this one is more, again, more personal, but I really want to know, is there anything like on your bucket list that you haven't been able to try yet that you really want to do?
But like not entertainment wise, just like in life.
Well, if you have one for entertainment, yes, but also non-entertainment wise.
This is going to sound so corny. First I'll answer entertainment. My entertainment bucket list is to get that like triple-digit $1 million movie. So then everybody who's been around me, I can be like, all right, guys, this is the one. And I want to bring everybody in. Like that's like a big want for me. But personally, like I've always wanted to go to Australia, and I thought this was the year I was going to be able to go to Australia. I want to go to Australia and like spend like a month and drive the coast of Australia. That's a big personal thing for me. I don't know if that's the answer that you're looking for, but like that's like a huge bucket list for me. I really thought that this year was going to be it, but then COVID happened, and so I just don't. That's like a huge thing. I'm just looking for a chunk of time to carve out and just go, play with all the crazy animals that live down there and see like that. Like that's a big bucket list. So I know it's not very exciting,
Maybe
but
one day
it's
we'll see a photo of you on your Instagram of you inside like a kangaroo pouch or something.
that sounds great. I would love it. You know, unboxing a kangaroo because they look like they punch really hard. Yeah. It's not very exciting, but it's mine. You know.
Right. No, that's good.
That's good.
Yeah, especially for people who don't get to travel, that's something that you want to be able to do.
Yeah.
Take some time off and enjoy it. Yeah.
Just see what it's all about. You know, it's a big world. It's a really big world out there.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's have you drop your social media for everyone so they can check out more from you and your work and even stuff going on in your personal life. So give us all your platforms.
I'm mainly on Instagram, and I don't even remember if it's Mike Mayhall or Michael Mayhall. Michael Mayhall on Instagram. That's it. That's pretty much the what I use. I'm not on Facebook very much. It's just too political for me.
Smart.
You know. Yeah, trying to keep on the sunny side of things with everything. But that's me, Michael Mayhall, and MikeMayhall.com for like trailers and the latest shows that I'm on. And I feel like I didn't even get to know you very well, Miss Megan. Like, like what's going on? Maybe we come back and learn about what things that are going in Maryland.
Yeah, the next time.
Next
time. But we definitely. Or next time I'm in New Orleans, I have to look you up because that's my family down there. I used to go every year. To New Orleans and to Mississippi, to the Gulf. We have family all in Ocean Springs and all in that area.
Gulf Coast kid. I know that. Yeah. Well, if you make it down, give me a shout. I'll be upset if you don't.
I will do. Will do.
Yes, ma'am.
Pretty awesome. And then everyone who is tuning in, make sure you check out season 1 and 2 of Bronx SIU. It's on UMC. It's also on Amazon Prime now, correct?
It's on Amazon. Yeah. And
are both seasons on there?
Both seasons, season 1 and 2, Bronx SIU. And while you're there, check out A House Divided. I promise you're gonna love it.
I'm about to binge watch.
Yes.
Oh yeah. Let me tell you, House Divided.
Well, we will definitely check that out. And thank you again, Mike, for joining us.
Hey,
we had a great interview with you. Learned so much about personal life and your experience on set. So thank you so much.
Thank you so much. You guys are wonderful. Thank you for having me. I really appreciate it.
Absolutely. We'll talk to you soon.
All right. Y'all have a good one.
You too. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
What an awesome interview.
Yeah, it makes me really want to do another crime series. I really want to be on one. I want to be on one that's steady. Like, how Sirens Media used to film out here in Maryland, and they would always do their crime series, but you would only get in like one episode. The true reaction crime series. That's fun, but like I want to do like Bronx SIU or like CSI. I want to be on like an ongoing.
Yeah, that one sounds really cool because. When
New York.
Sirius Media was down here, it's like everybody was on. What was the show? I can't even remember. What was the show that everybody was on? I was even on.
Oh, you mean For My Man?
For My Man, yes.
For My Man.
For My Man. Everyone did.
Everybody in the DMV.
I know. I even did 2 seasons of it.
Yeah, I did 2 seasons.
Everybody was on it. So if that reenactment stuff is really fun. But to have, like you said, a steady gig, the show itself sounds very interesting. I know I'm going to go check it out.
I've seen maybe 4 or 5 episodes so far, so I'm getting into it. It is good, and I'm watching on Amazon Prime because I just got Prime membership like 2 or 3 weeks ago. So I'm fresh on it, but I will be making sure to watch the full.
And it's on Amazon and what else?
UMC, I think it's Urban Movie Channel. UMC.
Oh, okay, I'm gonna find it.
Yeah, and then he also mentioned A House Divided. I'm going to look up that one as well to see what that's all about. But no, I like his cast in Bronx SIU. Actually, Brian, I'm a huge fan of Brian because I actually watched him a lot on like the Tyler Perry productions. And I love Tyler Perry and I love the cast he always puts because they're always such a perfect fit in his movies. And Brian was in a couple of those, and I believe maybe even some shows from Tyler Perry Productions.
Oh, now I'm definitely going to check it out because what I love about Tyler Perry is he always uses really good actors and then he reuses. He's not afraid to try them again in another episode or another series. I love that about him.
In a different type of role sometimes. Yeah, it's really good. Now, Let me ask you this, Megan, before we actually go, we have a few more minutes. Do you have any updates at all for like COVID or anything with fashion? I know we haven't talked to you with fashion in a long time.
Yeah, so I have some COVID updates, of course. So I'm on the COVID Maryland site. And I know that so many people have been enjoying this, this different phases, but this threat is still very much real. Okay, just lost it. Let me just pull it up again. Let's see.
Yeah, while you're pulling it up, I will say this. Restaurants, I'm glad that they're getting business again, but people, please be very mindful and cautious because just because they're opening, whether it's outside or indoors, and you might be one table away, don't let that fool you. Be mindful. And if you feel like you got to sneeze or something, you better run out that restaurant so fast because you're going to have all eyes on you uncomfortable if you sneeze in public. Okay, now is not the time. You better hold your nose and run. But just be mindful. You're not going to wear your mask while you're eating, but wear your mask when you're walking in and out of the restaurant, when you're next to people, when you're going to the restroom. I just don't want people to forget that because you can't, or else we're going to be in this predicament for a long time.
Right. And the thing is, a lot of people are getting lax about wearing their mask. You're hearing the jokes of people having a mask on their chin or barely wearing them. And, the threat is still real. We've had right now here the statistics, 63,229 confirmed cases of COVID, 384,379 negative tests. Total tests was almost, we're good. We're almost at 500,000. We're actually over 500,000 at 535,444. There have been 2,886 deaths, 130 probable deaths, 660 current hospitalizations, and 391 acute care. Those hospitalization numbers have gone down. That is why we have now been able to kind of get out and go into different phases. Out of isolation right now, we have 4,000 people in isolation. Currently, we still, and I'm making sure, those numbers in Prince George's County are still pretty high. We're now close to 20,000 people in Prince George's County at 17,661 individuals. Montgomery County at 13,862. We've had 667 deaths in Montgomery County, 624 deaths in Prince George's County. 6,900 cases in Baltimore City, 301 deaths, 7,371 cases in Baltimore County, 415 deaths. So, still those numbers in Prince George's and Montgomery County are still very, very high.
Right.
This is affecting mostly the African American population. They have now broke down the numbers on the COVID virus website, Maryland.gov, down to race. So 18,295 African Americans have tested positive for the disease, and 1,183 have died. For Asian Americans, 1,251, 110 have died. For white Americans, 12,414 cases of COVID, 1,232 deaths. Hispanics, 17,252, and only 304 deaths. So both the Hispanic and African American community are close to 20,000 cases.
Right. Wow.
But the death rate is very low for the Hispanics at 304. And whites and blacks have around the same. Actually, whites the deaths are higher at 1,232, and African American deaths at 183. Now we've been hearing different numbers, but it looks like that actually the whites death is higher. Cases are lower, but the deaths are higher.
Right.
So the virus is still very real, folks. Please, Justin is saying, still use precautions. We are in phase 2. They have opened up the restaurants. Folks are going, eating outdoors. I personally went out and ate outdoors. It was sort of, a little uncomfortable, but it wasn't a lot of people there, to be honest. It wasn't crowded, and that's why we did it. And everyone is really, really trying to keep things safe. And my county is very, very low. So I had another sense of security doing it. But, the stores are open. I was in Home Goods and I was like this.
Right.
Because there was so many people. And I was like, my throat is hurting. But I think it was my mind.
Right. You better get some tea and honey, girl.
So I think it was my mind for the fashion. Just segueing. So I was in Vogue magazine, and they have some really good articles in Vogue. If you guys ever pick up a Vogue magazine, it's not just about fashion. It has so many great articles. And one of the editors, Anna Woodtower, she's a very known, she's very fashionable. Even if you don't know her name, you've seen her. She's she always wears shades and a bob. She's really known. She's actually come out and say, that she has sort of apologized for her mishaps in the past when it comes to race relations, and maybe not giving enough opportunities to Black editors or space in Vogue for Black people.
Wow.
And so I was thinking that this is very good, that this is coming out now. I even noticed in Vogue, they have a lot more Black models for Chanel, Black models for Louis Vuitton, Dior. So I think that, again, as we were talking earlier, that this movement is permeating in so many different fields and facets, and it's such a good thing. But what's in right now is chain purses. So the purses with the chain, the gold chain, that totally Hillary Banks look.
I love Hillary Banks. Oh my God, she always had a pocketbook to kill for. You know what?
She wore Chanel. She always wore Chanel.
I loved Hillary.
So that is really, and it's, what is interesting is that if on the high end it's Chanel, on the low end it's Ralph Lauren.
Oh wow!
So you can still get, it's interesting because with fashion they're not knockoff, they're inspirations. So you'll see Gucci will come out with something and then they'll have inspirations of the same pattern or the same style. But these chain purses are so in right now, and pleats are coming back.
Oh wow!
So pleats and skirts, pleats and they had in the in Vogue magazine. If you guys are into fashion, please pick up Vogue. There's this new the new season of Vogue. There's a museum that is out and it's showing fashion. I think they started from the 1800s to now, and a lot of the puffy sleeves are coming back, the clench waist with belts, and so even though we're going through so much, fashion world, there are some awesome things in sales. Please, if you have an opportunity to go into Home Goods, everything is on sale because these stores have been closed for so long.
Right.
So everything is on sale. I got a killer sale again on home items. Everything is on sale. So you can tear up with sales. Have you gotten any good sales?
Oh, yes, I have. I love me some sales, and I'd be the first one online to figure out where they are so I can go run to the store. Yes, as a matter of fact, actually, it was like a week ago, 2 weeks ago, and on my break from work, I went to the store to go shopping for clothes because, and I ain't done know, but I just ran like it was like an emergency, like a fire was in my house because it was the perfect time. And I called first to make sure they were open. They said it was pretty slow. I'm like, perfect. It's slow. Let me get in there before all this stuff starts floating around the air. I went in there. I tell you, I got like 6 or 7 new outfits, new pair of shoes, and you're talking less than probably 200 or 225 for all of that, which is pretty good.
Wow.
And I'm not a brand. I used to be all about brand. I honestly don't care about brand anymore, except Jordan. I'm all for Jordan. That's my one exception. But other than that, I'm not a brand whore. But I will tell you, I'm more of a matching. So like color combination. That's my field. I'm 32 years old. I don't need name brands anymore. If I can afford it, great. But I will say for shoes, because I've ordered I have a lot of shoes, but like last year, I want to say maybe 9 or 10 months ago, ordered shoes online, and actually I've ordered shoes from different vendors. You know how you be on Instagram sometimes, you be seeing these little posts from people that are like overseas, like Hong Kong or something like that. Don't down them. It might take a month to get to you, but don't down them. I bought so many things, and it's not even expensive. It's expensive to ship it, but not to buy it. And it's good quality, just like you would spend here. And it's amazing stuff. Again, I buy it more for design, look, edginess, and color. But you have to check them sites out. We're actually down to our last like 40 seconds I'm seeing. So I do want to say thank you, everyone, again for tuning in to our interview that we had today. I really enjoyed having Mike.
He was amazing. I really am inspired.
He was so passionate about his work.
Yes.
So relaxed and like so diverse. So if we go to New Orleans, we definitely have to go visit him.
Well, we're going to definitely look him up.
Yes. Maybe we can come up with our own idea for production.
Yeah. I'm all game.
Let's do it. But thank you, everyone, for tuning in to another great show. We'll see you here next Thursday on Out the Box Radio Show at groupradionetwork.com at 7 p.m. So see you next week. Thanks, Megan.
Bye. Thank you.